This is In the Know for Wednesday, December 15, the 349th day of 2021. There are 16 days left in the year. Good morning, MB. Guiding you through In the Know at K105 on Litchfield's Country Station, 1039 The Moose, live online at K105.com, via the Apple and Android smartphone app using the SoundCloud or iTunes podcast, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, and the hashtag is In the Know. Coming up today, we update you on the latest news headlines from around the community, the county, the Commonwealth, and the country. And also we have the Carol of the Bells. Ashley Bell from Grayson County Cougar Bands will be here talking about a very special event going on tomorrow. We've got that and a whole lot more coming up today here on In the Know. Settling into my left, rolling Mach 9 with her hair on fire, is my beautiful wife, the beautiful girl. It's Beach. Good morning, sweetheart.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm good. I've had a busy morning, but
You
just trying to take care of things.
you got safely to work. That's the most important
well,
part.
yeah. I had someone to drop
You
me.
had a good chauffeur and make sure you got here safely and
Yeah.
soundly. You like animals. You like zoo animals.
I love
know you
animals.
like giraffes, but you love animals. Fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. You like lions. They're not your favorite, but they're like mine. But but you like lions just fine. Yes.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Imagine if you were at the airport and there were two lions just roaming around the airport. Would that make you feel uncomfortable?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, two huge lions sparked a mass panic at a major airport after escaping their enclosure as they were being taken onto a plane. They were the Singapore airport, and vets had to use tranquilizers to get them under control during a standoff with the lions and the people in the airport.
Yeah.
You know, I oftentimes think I've seen it all at the airport, but
Not really.
I hadn't seen that yet. Suddenly I go, hey, there's a couple of lions there. He is a 5-time winner of the coveted Ohio Newshawk Award. He's a 2-time Silver Sound nominee, covering every corner of the globe: London, Moscow, Paris, and the whole USA. He's Sam Gormley and the Sparts. Morning, Sam.
Morning, Ralph.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. I'm relying upon you to tell me everything I need to know about National Signing Day.
Oh,
You got your, I'm sure you're covering the whole, you've got the whole USA blanketed because it's
Well,
National Signing Day.
I know I asked, Grayson County football does have a player who committed, and I asked if he was signing today, and no, I think they're going to hold off until the spring.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. All right. Well, let me keep
But
your
yeah, so
options open.
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
I've seen early morning flurry of activity of people who had committed and then signing their letters of intent, and Kentucky sharing those. But one major one, they're getting strung along a little bit more on Goodwin. Goodwin or Godwin?
Keontae Goodwin.
Goodwin, yeah. He's a big get.
He'd be the highest-rated football player to ever come to the state of Kentucky.
Yeah, but he suddenly, all of a sudden, seems interested in making Kentucky vie for his attentions last minute. He said last night, Michigan State and UK is where he's at.
Yeah,
and
it's kind of torn, and you know what? Like I always say, is he needs to make the decision that's best for him. And I think he's probably one of those, like a lot of kids, that all of a sudden, is his third cousin twice removed, who's a big, whichever fan it is like, oh, well, you need to come here. And he needs to really just sit down and think about which decision do I need to make.
Right.
And not what decision my third cousin twice removed needs to make.
Yeah. He just seems like the fact that he's delaying it a little bit more just seems like he's really liking the attention.
Yeah.
He's really
and
liking the attention that's being paid to him.
Can you blame him? I mean, you're getting wine and dined, and I don't blame him at all.
There comes a point, you made a commitment. Are you going to follow through on the commitment? And I guess we'll see later on today. Will Kentucky be the bridesmaid or the bride when it comes to the
Well, I think you're going to have to wait till the
marriage?
spring. So
you
I think
you
you're
he's
going
going
to
to
have to
delay
wait
it
till
even
February.
longer?
Yeah.
Few showers today. Going to be heavier rain and wind for Thursday. We'll see wind gusts could reach 40 miles an hour at times with this front near the area. Of course, Western Kentucky, extremely edgy after what happened over the weekend, and now rain moving into the region. I don't think here in our neck of the woods we're going to see as much wind as we might in the region, even though we've seen some gusts already this morning. But for areas that have in Western Kentucky that already have roof damage, or maybe your house wasn't destroyed, but you're trying to protect what you do have left. There was a big rush yesterday to get roofs and other things tarped and covered in advance of the rain, because 30% chance of rain today, 100% tomorrow, 100% on Friday. And then this is for the entire Wave 3 storm tracking team region. And then 80% on Saturday. So rain is on the way. We'll see cloudy today, a high of 65. Tonight, 58. And rain chance tomorrow, as I mentioned, a high of 59. And then...
Yeah, I was reading something from the Weather Service that they said that it is a lot of rain, too, that'll be dumped on the area.
Mm-hmm. It's one thing for it to rain really hard for several hours. It's another thing for it to rain even slightly for an elongated period of time. You just got rain dumped on top of rain. The President of the United States will be coming to Kentucky today to survey storm damage. For the 5th time since taking office less than a year ago, he's taking on the grim task of visiting an area of damage by natural disaster. He will start at Fort Campbell today and then branch out. I think he's going to Mayfield and then going to Dawson Springs. Obviously, his connection to the Beshear administration and aligning politically, and the Beshear's heritage in Dawson Springs and Hopkins County.
When the last time a president went to Dawson Springs?
Yeah, I'd say never.
I'd be curious to see when was the last time a president went west of I-65 in Kentucky?
Seemed like... yeah, that's a good question.
I get not counting Bowling Green.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you say west of I-65, that Bowling Green splits.
I guess west of the park of the.
Seemed like Owensboro was in play
really?
within the last couple of years. I don't know that, but you may have, like Dawson Springs. And he wasn't president; he was vice president. But you might have to go all the way back to like Alvin Barkley, for somebody from the presidential administration.
And he's from Paducah, right?
To be, and so, of course, obviously, who Lake Barkley is named for. Listen, I'm not a particular fan of the politics of President Biden. He's the president.
And that's what presidents do.
And Kentucky needs presidential support, and Kentucky needs federal support. You won't find me calling the president names when he's coming to Kentucky to try and help. And I think if you choose to, I think you're rude. And you don't have to like him personally, you don't have to like him politically, but you should respect the office and the fact that he's coming to Kentucky to try and be of some assistance, and maybe not just him, but his team, the administration. We need their help. Kentuckians need their help, so no reason to be snide. Telethon, hosted by the University of Kentucky Athletics Association, or Department, last night raised more than $3 million in donations with matching funds to benefit victims of last weekend's storms. The Kentucky United for Tornado Relief Telethon, all those proceeds are going to the American Red Cross. Donations had reached over $3 million, with more coming in the 4-hour telethon that concluded last night. $50,000 from Ohio State University's men's basketball coach Chris Holtman, who is from Nicholasville. And then Coach Cal leaned on all the millionaires that have been produced by UK basketball over the last decade, and saw a lot of the UK men's basketball brethren. Your famous names,
Jamal Murray, I saw.
Yeah, the who's who of UK men's basketball, who are all contributing larger sums. And so $3 million in a short period of time, very impressive. Team Kentucky, what the governor did a couple of days ago is getting sizable. I think the KSR Kentucky Chamber collaboration is looking for about $500,000, and maybe they were halfway there as of yesterday.
I think I saw this morning they were over 300,000.
Are they?
I think I saw that this morning.
That's good, and good to have backing. Obviously the chamber is a very powerful organization,
and it also helps when the crafts are behind you as well.
Yeah, that's true.
They got a little bit of money.
They were able to get it set up and get it going. Death toll yesterday stayed at 74, but ranging in age from 2 months to 98 years. Well, it covers the spectrum. Wow. Governor Beshear said the number of deaths from the weekend will remain at 74, but more than 100 still missing, and believe that number is even larger. I won't break down the deaths for you by county again. They're holding pretty steady, but the 8 of the deaths are unidentified, or their names either have not yet been released. I've been taking in, huge amounts of coverage of this, just like I'm sure each one of you have. my takeaway from yesterday, two takeaways. One was the mom who, living in a 100-year-old house, collapsed around her. She had a child under each arm. She had one that was months old and had one that was 3. And she lost the one that was 3. And you'll know her, and I apologize that I don't recall her name. It's not a simple name like Sally or something like that. It's multi syllables. But she said she has a black eye. You can just tell. It looked like somebody punched her in the eye. It's just so dark and black from, she got hit with something in the storm. And so just hearing her tell her story, the numbness that she has in talking about it, but talking about it so matter-of-factly, just so you can tell that the shock is still there. And then from a rescue standpoint and people who are trying to help, I learned about an organization yesterday I was not aware of, and it's called Operation Sheepdog. And it was very compelling to me because it's a group of either current or former first responders, maybe people who surveyed or served our country in the armed forces, people who have already seen traumatic experiences in their life. And what they do is they come into areas of devastation. And so that friends and neighbors of that community don't have to be the ones who find the deceased, they find them, identify them, process them, so that you aren't uncovering your friends and neighbors, or as many times as possible to avoid a fellow friend and neighbor uncovering or discovering another fellow friend and neighbor who lost their lives and that trauma. And I thought it was a remarkable approach. And there are heroes and helpers all around us who are doing things like this. And that's just one instance, but it was very compelling to me. The way that the gentleman who was interviewed, who was leading the organization, the boots on the ground there, he said, if we can keep our fellow first responders from having to discover their own brethren, their own friends and family in these piles of rubble, then we're doing our job. And it was very moving to me. I thought it was wonderful. And that's just, I'm sure, one instance of what is happening. Electric cooperatives are reducing Western Kentucky outages from 80,000 to 10,000. I know a lot of strides were made yesterday all over the state.
Well,
Bowling Green.
I think I read Warren RECC is less than 500 this morning.
We got a new release from Warren RECC this morning. They've been working day and night, as have been West Kentucky RECC, Warren RECC, Gibson EMC, Penny Ryle Electric. I happened to talk to somebody from LG and EKU this morning and said their territories were looking pretty good in their service areas. BGMU covered a lot of ground yesterday. So the power grid is looking better in areas where it is rebuildable, but there are some other things as well, like other simple utilities like water, sewer, gas. Is that infrastructure solid or not?
Wi-Fi network.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fiber optic.
Broadband. I don't mind telling you. I think I mentioned on Monday, Taylor and Cameron living in that area toward the end of the bypass where most of that damage was in Bowling Green. Their home was spared, but just a few trees. But then as they're removing trees, they realize one of the uprooted trees has ripped their water line. So the water line to their home. So while they might have electricity, they don't have water. But then you have to rely upon overwhelmed infrastructure of people to come in and mark all the other lines before they can dig and do those repairs. And so there are some ripple effect. It's not just electricity, is my point. There's some other downstream or
In a lot of ways, you don't realize everything that you use.
That's right. There's some derivative problems that are created as a result of trying to just uncover from the damage. Some low-interest disaster loans are available for 24 Kentucky counties. Low-interest disaster loans from the U.S. Small Business Administration are available to businesses in Caldwell, Fulton, Graves, Hopkins, Marshall, Muhlenberg, Taylor, and Warren, which is that primary escalated disaster zone. But injury disaster loans also available in Edmondson, Butler, Barron, looking for the surrounding counties here, Ohio, McLean, Grayson County, not listed specifically, but I would almost assure you that little sliver over along Falls of Rough is going to qualify for some type of aid. That was just just this teeny tiny area that was impacted there. State Police reminder for you, State Police Post 4 in Elizabethtown continuing to serve as a drop-off point for donations for tornado victims. They are currently accepting donations until Friday at 3:30 Central. They need bottled water, gallons of water, baby food, diapers, blankets, work gloves, toiletries, and dog and cat food. Also, if you're wanting to participate in that West Kentucky toy drive that First Lady Brittany Bashir is heading up, you can also do that through all of the KSP posts.
Which is a good idea. It's one of those things, like it was, I think even KSR was talking about it yesterday, that they said it was one thing that you didn't even think about.
By the way, don't wrap those. They need them unwrapped so they know what they are, and then they can wrap them and distribute them. And so if you just want to, you can buy gift cards, you can do toys, birth to 17. So just, I saw this a couple of days ago, and I really don't want to spend much time on it, but I also don't think we can ignore it. After the adrenaline and shock starts to wear off over tragedies, a lot of times, unfortunately, the blame game starts, and and so I saw this 2 days ago on social media, and I thought, I hope that's not true, but it's also a very complex issue in my mind. A worker says she risked discipline if she left her job amid the storm. An employee of the Kentucky Candle Factory, where 8 workers were killed, said that a supervisor threatened her with written disciplinary action if she went home early because storms were approaching. Her name is Haley Conder. She worked there off and on for 10 years. She also questioned why the company didn't encourage workers to go home or at least give them a better understanding of the danger. And so that was between a first tornado siren around 6 p.m. Friday and another one around 9 p.m. So she goes on to tell her story. A spokesperson for the company insisted employees were free to leave any time. So the truth is somewhere in the middle of those two things. The company might have said one thing, a supervisor might have not interpreted that correctly, or might have said something different, and then you got the employee over here. It is very hard not to be on the side of the labor force. It is very hard not to be on the side of the people that lost their lives. It's very easy to drift to that side. What I'm trying to do also then is just imagine, I'm trying not to rush to that side because of empathy and compassion. It's human nature to do that. I'm trying to just make sure and be open to, well, how complex a situation like that. If every time there was a watch of some kind that you had to change your course or do something different, then there's some problems associated with that. But then also you can't wait until a warning says a tornado is half a mile away, take cover. You also can't do that. So this is there are many layers to this onion, and so I want to know more about this, and my guess is we will learn more about this and find out exactly what happened in that situation. But there's no winning. There's no winning for anyone in that situation. And just tragic nonetheless. 69 new COVID cases in Grayson County since December 6th. New report that was released yesterday by the Grayson County Health Department. 89 active COVID cases in the county. There are 7 people currently hospitalized. Incidentally, 6 of those are unvaccinated individuals. So it gives you an idea. We're not talked about, I don't think we've said the word COVID since last Friday, and that's fine with me, but do want to give you an update. Pfizer confirms their COVID pills results and says their potency against the Omicron variant is fine. Also, you can read about it at K105.com. A huge fire destroyed a barn and expensive farm equipment just outside Litchfield Monday morning, approaching midday. You can read about that at K105.com. Former Kentucky Secretary of State Allison Lundergan Grimes says she didn't do anything wrong. Well, what would you expect her to say if she's facing ethics violations? She's not going to say, "You guys got me. I guess you finally figured me out." And then Vince Tyre, former athletic director at the University of Louisville, is speaking finally and talked with journalists yesterday to kind of give some idea. He said once he told President Ben DiPuti that he was maybe taking the FSU job, he never heard back from her, he said. He also says he did not decide to fire Scott Satterfield and talk to Jeff Brom. And then he said Chris Mack is in a tight spot. And I'm like, well, those are pretty good assessments all the way around. Yeah, nailed it. We got to get to a break. We'll come back. Ashley Bell from the Grayson County Cougar Band Programs is here. Big event tomorrow night that we need your help with, and you'll enjoy it. We'll tell you all about it coming up here on In the Know.
Hear that? Is that America cheering or a sausage patty sizzling to perfection? It's time to cheer for Egg McMuffin and fresh cracked eggs at McDonald's. It's time to wake up to the aroma of freshly baked biscuits and treat yourself to a real honest-to-goodness morning meal. Breakfast, it's on at McDonald's. Choose any breakfast sandwich, buy one, get one free. Available only on the app. Price and participation may vary. McD app download and registration required. Single item at regular price.
Attention propane customers. Has your existing provider been hard to reach? Have you had questions that haven't been answered or experienced long wait times and been asked to reply and send emails for customer support? Don't waste any more of your time. Southern States Co-op in Bowling Green will take your call. They will even swap out your existing tank with no charge for removing your current tank. Southern States of Bowling Green is ready to serve your propane needs in Bowling Green and surrounding counties because empty is never an option.
It's here. NCTC, powered by Warren RECC, now offers high-speed internet to parts of Grayson County. With the fastest speeds available anywhere, working from home, virtual education, or just streaming your favorite movies is now a reality. To see if high-speed internet is now available in your area or if it will be soon, visit fiberforgrayson.com. Call 270-971-2021 to schedule your installation today.
This holiday season, remember that Core-Mark Kentucky offers you paid holidays from the first day you start. They are now hiring order selectors. That means you work a Sunday through Thursday schedule, pulling orders for our customers each night. You'll earn $14 per hour after 90 days, qualify for benefits after 30 days, and receive a $1,000 sign-on bonus. Start your new year out right with a family-oriented company. Apply online at careers.core-mark.com or feel free to call careers.core-mark.com.
Imagine a weekend getaway without the headache of traveling. Visit Lafayette Golf Club at the Falls of Rough Resort, where a relaxing vacation is just minutes away. The 250-acre golf course offers golf for all levels of play. 2022 annual golf memberships are on sale now for only $3.99. Go hiking, fishing, swimming, and more. Then visit the Bar and Grill for karaoke every Friday night. Book a cozy cabin or a room in the Green Farm Mansion, which is a great venue for weddings and reunions. Stay and play packages are available. For more information, call 270-879-3115 or visit fallsofroughresort.com.
The richest tradition in college basketball.
The most passionate fan base in the world.
Get the best coverage of your Kentucky Wildcats.
Long slam, dunk.
Right here.
Hi, it's Tom Leach. Join me and the Wildcat Hall of Famer Mike Pratt for Kentucky basketball all season long. And join Dave Baker and another Hall of Famer, the Goose, Jack Gibbons, for our Don Franklin Auto Countdown to Tip-Off coverage. It starts 90 minutes before game time here on the UK Sports Network.
Sorry, Apple heads. Reports say their foldable phone is not coming next year. Analyst Ross Young says the tech giant's version of a foldable smartphone is not expected to be introduced until 2023 at the earliest, with 2024 being more the likely target date. Most major device makers are expected to introduce foldable phones in the near future. Apple releasing a new Android app called Tracker Detect to help people who don't own Apple products to identify unexpected AirTags near them. If a user thinks they may be being tracked, they can use the app to scan for nearby AirTags, and when it finds one that's been separated from its owner, it will flag it as an unknown AirTag. Eventually, you can get instructions on how to remove its battery and otherwise disable it. Rotten Tomatoes is partnering with TikTok to launch a TikTok Jump that will allow users to link to movies and TV trailers and information on where to watch clips, cast information, and more. Tech Report, Larry Olson, NBC.
Today is National Cupcake Day. It is also Bill of Rights Day. And it is Cat Herders Day.
Oh, that's the definition of you right there. There's one thing you love, it's cats.
also the day we say good morning and welcome back. She's singing a solo this morning. Didn't have a running buddy with her. But it's why we play Carol the Bells year round. Our dear friend Ashley Bell is back. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Ready to sing a solo today?
Absolutely not.
No
There's a reason why I play an instrument, Mark.
No duet harmony today. Does being a band director ever feel like being a cat herder? You feel like you're always herding cats somewhere, like, get in here.
Probably so, yeah.
I can imagine. I can see that. It's like trying to move Jell-O. Like, all right, all you all get over there and stay contained. We saw some photography earlier this week from our friends across the street over at the Alliance of the band students being involved in being charitable and giving back and helping out over at the Alliance this week. I would imagine one of the missions of your band ministry, that I'll call it, is not just creating good musicians, but creating good humans. And this is one of the ways you help do that, yes?
Absolutely. We always tell the kids that, being a good musician is important, but being a good person is a lot more important. So what we try to teach in the classroom can go well beyond, what they do musically speaking. But when we developed a leadership team, it's been several years ago now, but we really tried to instill, at least in our leadership team, but we always open it up to anybody, that we want to give back to a community that gives so much to us. So the Food Alliance is just one of the ways we've been doing that. And Debbie is awesome to partner with, of course, and it's an easy way to help out, and the kids love being there and doing that. So we try to do it at least once a year.
Right. I look at events like, I'm privileged to be able to participate in the marching classic that you have, which is just, grown so big. I know you do a lot of that internally through boosters, but you also rely upon community support, and whether it's restaurants or whether it, hospitality or logistics, whatever it might be. So I guess what you're saying is, because the community rallies and supports around you all so much, you want to turn that coin over whenever possible.
Yeah, absolutely. We, I often say on Facebook, which you probably see it all the time, it takes a village, because we do so many different activities, and people don't even really realize sometimes what we do. And so we do have to have a lot of community support, and they've never faltered, and so we just like to give back when possible.
There are a lot of parents this time of year who are probably trying to come up with creative gift ideas for their young people. And I know, you're going to be an advocate for people finding their way into music through the education system and that type of thing. But talk a little bit about the gift of music. Like, if you're a parent and being able to give your child an instrument and to encourage them to pick up an instrument, it seems like you're giving them an instrument, but you're really giving them far more.
Yeah, I mean, musicians is something that you can take with you lifelong. Like, literally, you can still be, 60, 70, 80 years old, and if healthy and able, you can still be playing your instrument. And there's lots of people out there that continue their craft well beyond high school and even college. For parents, I would say, hey, you're putting a scholarship in their hand, first of all. If your student's willing to work hard and keep going, then in college it can provide a lot of financial support for your family. But even beyond that, there are community bands everywhere. There's orchestras everywhere. There's lots of opportunities where you can continue to enjoy your instrument or your craft, even vocalist as well, well beyond. And sometimes, athletes can play for many, many years, but we all know we all get to that point where, you have to retire from athletics at some point.
Right.
Instrumentally, you can keep that, you can keep your craft going well beyond. So,
Do you have, I would presume you do, but I don't know this, do you have upperclassmen, upperclass women who would be available, or do you know people who are giving private tutoring on instruments? And maybe you've got a fourth grader or a fifth grader that's just trying to get started and they need a mentor. Are those mentoring relationships or tutoring relationships available?
We do know of several, and we always tell the kids, if you're interested in lessons, we'll find you a teacher. Angela Nash, my colleague at the middle school, has been pretty awesome about finding people, and if we can't get them here in person, then we do them, now everything's virtual. You can do anything over a Google Meet. So she's done some really awesome bassoon lessons and oboe lessons with colleagues from Western. So we've been able to do a lot of that. We do have students studying at Western with like Dr. Sapola, who's their clarinet saxophone guy. Chad Pence, ironically, came back from South Carolina and lives here in our community now and works at the hospital. But he's an excellent low brass player. And has,
shout out to the low brass.
Yes, and Chad's going to help us out tomorrow night on the concert too. He's helped us out several times, so we know all kinds of people like that.
One other footnote on the giving, so you're giving an instrument, but really you're giving a lifelong of enjoyment, and you're in ways you're forming the way that young person's brain functions because of what music does. It is shaping. But one footnote to that is you would also be an advocate to say, be careful about who you buy instruments from, because sometimes what meets the eye isn't what you might get in the mail. Yes?
I absolutely would. that old saying of you get what you pay for, sometimes, especially when you're talking about instruments, it's very, very true statement. Yeah. If it appears to be too good to be true on the internet, it probably is.
It's shiny. It looks great. It's only $77.
Let's blue.
Bring it in here. Yeah. So, just be careful about that. And there are some very reputable music dealers, and so just ask someone if you're new into that. Maybe a set of bagpipes. Maybe you're gonna get me a set of bagpipes.
Are you gonna play bagpipes for me one day? Because I've been coming here for years, which I enjoy very much, but I'm yet to see the bagpipes.
I think his agreement is he wants to have one down to Georgia, right?
Well,
I want to see this in action.
There's some bartering involved. I need to be first chair of the bagpipe section of the band before I can agree to anything. You've mentioned a couple of times about the concert, and did you have a format? Did you have a version of the Christmas concert last year, or did we pause it for 1 year?
We did not.
Okay, so back for the first time since 2019. But talk about an event, a collaboration that I know it's a high wire act for you directors trying to get it all coordinated and get it rehearsed. But putting the power of the choral program, the orchestra program, and the band program together at Grayson County High School, to me, is marvelous. I mean, it just says it's a beautiful thing when it comes together, and I know you all are excited to present it again.
Really excited, and it is a lot of hard work. Like orchestra keys, which to somebody that doesn't know a lot about music, but playing in an orchestra key when you're a band student and vice versa, if you're an orchestra musician trying to play in a band key, it can get really complex really quickly. And then both of those groups, when you're trying to play in choral keys that are really comfortable for vocalists, it can get really tricky. So it's a lot of music. It's a really difficult concert to put together, but it truly is my favorite concert of the year. As stressful as it can sometimes be, just trying to get it all done, I'm still looking very forward to it.
The Candlelight Processional at Epcot at Walt Disney World is one of my favorite events of the year because it is the combination of the choir and the band and the orchestra, and you bring it all together, and it's magical, and to me it says Christmas. And so I'm so glad that you all do this. I know it's challenging, but people will be blessed by having been there and taking part. It's tomorrow night, and it's always been a fundraiser of sorts, but suddenly a big pivot earlier this week that you're trying to be innovative and reactive to changing dynamics. So what do we need to know to be supportive of the event tomorrow night?
Well, we've always asked for canned food drive, canned foods that go directly to the Grayson County Alliance. And on Monday morning when I was driving to Caneyville to do my band class, Debbie Childress gave me a call and said, look, we were so blessed by other communities when we went through like the ice storm and things like that. She's like, I think right now it's okay to focus on other communities. And she said, with my blessing, let's go ahead and maybe do something for tornado victims. And I know there's a lot of people doing a lot of donation drives and things right now, which I think is truly wonderful. But rather than the canned foods tomorrow night. The concert is always free and open to the public. But we would like to try to get some items for tornado victims, and specifically maybe those items that are kind of getting looked over or that they need more of, because I know right now lots of those people are inundated with food and clothing. There's obviously so much that they're having trouble dispersing it all into correct places, but they still need items. I've got a list here specifically in Dawson Springs. They need things like tarps, hammers, and nails because, as you guys mentioned just a little while ago, all the rain that's coming in. Over-the-counter medications, things that you don't really think about. Vaseline, deodorant, masking tape, and specifically jugs for gasoline. Generators run on gasoline, as we all know, and it's, if you don't have anything to put the gasoline in to transport it from A to B, then you're out of luck. So things like that we may not be thinking of, we would like to try to collect and get to the right locations.
There is a fraternity. I'm not saying there's not a fraternity in athletics, because there certainly is, and we've seen rival football programs this week trying to, support their comrades, if you will, in Western Kentucky. And I'm sure there are musical needs in Western Kentucky that we will soon learn about, and those things will be addressed. I remember seeing the story a few weeks ago of a year or so ago in Nashville or in Tennessee when a high school got wiped out and all of their instruments were damaged. Like, they were just completely wiped out. And Vince Gill and Amy Grant came in and wrote the check to resupply that band, and they had a concert, and the euphoria that was involved in when putting those things together. So my point is that small gestures of kindness add up to people in time of need, and this is just one additional way to be able to help people.
Absolutely, yes. My brother is also a band director, ironically, and he sent a picture yesterday. We're very close friends with the band director in Mayfield and also Graves County, and their band trailer, is like a food trailer type truck, just destroyed. Like, it looked like it had been literally just crushed with something. So, they have lost a lot, and Miss Jarbo mentioned that it would be nice to give back specifically to music programs. Right now, they don't even know what those needs are until they have a chance, obviously, to kind of start putting the pieces back together. But we look forward to doing that as well in the future. Yeah,
it's a hierarchy of needs. Life and limb first, shelter probably second. Food would be close, and then some of those other needs. And as we've been saying all week, this is not a 60-day fix. This is a 6-year fix it's going to take, and it'll be gradual. So just remind us again, Ashley, what time tomorrow evening, where do we go, and what are our processes again?
It's at Grayson County High School. It starts at 7 p.m. It will be held in the gymnasium. And like you mentioned, it is choir, band, and orchestra combined. Oftentimes you can see these programs at Christmas time, but you have to, $50 ticket or something to get into it. So obviously it's free. And we want to welcome everybody. Try to bring something to donate to tornado victims. Would be awesome.
You will not be singing the Hallelujah chorus?
No, I will not. Okay. I might be conducting it, but not singing it.
You'll be deferring the singing to someone. Yeah, will Aaron be singing it?
He's actually a pretty decent singer, but no on that one as well.
It's wonderful to see you as always. And I hope the community will be supportive of the event tomorrow night. That's Ashley Bell from the Grayson County Band Programs. Don't miss that wonderful Christmas concert tomorrow night. We got to get to a break. Be back with more here on In the Know.
I'm Stephen Smith from the Sicilian Bank. Our gift to you this Christmas is our time-honored tradition of the Christmas story. Here's Beth Childress.
And she brought forth her firstborn son and wrapped him in swaddling clothes and laid him in a manger because there was no room for them in the inn. Luke chapter 2, verse 7.
This is the greatest story ever told, and it's our gift to you. Merry Christmas from all of us at the Sicilian Bank.
May your holiday be bright. May there be a special Christmas wish for every Christmas light. In the spirit of peace on earth, goodwill to men, the people at Grable Funeral Home wish you the very best this Christmas and a wonderful New Year.
Christmas time is all about giving and opening our hearts to one another. I, Jeremy Loxton, County Attorney, want to wish you, your friends, and family a wonderful time of celebration and gratitude this holiday season. So from myself and the rest of the staff at the Grayson County Attorney's Office, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
If you still listen to 8-track tapes and watch black and white television, then I bet you still use a phone to request underground utility line locations. Well, that's old school. Now everything is done online, including contacting 811 before you dig. Making a request online is faster, easier, and just as free as calling. Before you dig, on the job site or at home, notify 811 online at Kentucky811.org. That's Kentucky811.org.
Almost 4 in 10 high school seniors in Kentucky don't fill out the free application for federal student aid, the FAFSA. We asked students why that is.
I honestly have no idea what the FAFSA is.
At my high school, they don't really talk about the financial aid or FAFSA for that matter.
Filling out the FAFSA is the first step to getting your share of $150 billion in financial aid. And it just got easier. Visit knowhowtogoky.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by the Pritchard Committee Student Voice Team and the Council on Post-Secondary Education.
This holiday season, you may hear sleigh bells jingling, ring-ting tingling too. But if you're even a little buzzed, one thing that shouldn't be jingling is your car keys, unless you're handing them to a sober friend.
I'll take those.
And outside, the snow may be falling and friends may be calling yoo-hoo. But if you're impaired, you should call a cab or rideshare service.
Yes.
Drive sober or get pulled over. A message from the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety.
K105 Weather is brought to you by Future Designs Building Materials on Quarry Road in Litchfield.
Twin Lakes weather. We'll have to deal with some gusty winds for this afternoon, near 30 miles per hour, and a mix of sun and clouds as we climb into the 60s for your highs. Once we get into tonight, down into the 50s, widespread rain and windy conditions are in the forecast for your Thursday. From the Wave 3 News Storm Tracking Team, I'm meteorologist Tawana Andrews.
Do they know it's Christmas time at
all? Did you know Jingle Bells was originally a Thanksgiving song?
I actually do think I did know that.
Yeah. I didn't.
I think I've heard that before.
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh, over the field we go. Yeah, it was originally a Thanksgiving song. You know, go up there with those famous Thanksgiving songs like Over the River and Through the Woods, to Grandmother's House We Go, which is an actual song. And my grandmother will remind you of it. So she will. We sang it on Thanksgiving Day for her. Here are some of the weirdest Christmas traditions that we should absolutely bring back, or not, just depending upon how you feel about it. One, I didn't know this existed. I've heard some of these names, but apparently Santa's Enforcers used to be a Christmas tradition.
Isn't that the elves?
Back in the old days, Santa had a posse. St. Nick's rogue gallery of criminal associates went by different names in different places. Krampus.
I've heard of Krampus. Yeah.
Schmutzli, Perchta, Ruprecht.
We need to bring back Schmutzli.
Ruprecht will love
fun.
Oklahoma.
Schmutzli.
My favorite line from Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Ruprecht will love Oklahoma. Oklahoma, Oklahoma, Oklahoma. Handstrap, Klaubauf, Belsnickel, or Father Whipper. So, yeah. So one of them to accompany him on Christmas Eve rounds, forcing him to whip all the bad boys and girls. So if you were on the naughty list, you got whipped. Number two.
You got coal.
This escalated beyond that. This is the extra bad. The 12 Days of Christmas, the song is true. People used to celebrate the Christmas for 12 days straight. And by the way, it started on Christmas, which is one of the reasons we use the convenient excuse to leave our decorations up longer. Well, I mean, it's really just the 8th day of Christmas. So, yeah, the annual celebration began between December 25th and January 6th. While it was originally a more solemn affair, by the Middle Ages, it was basically 12 days of revelry. So, but then we wanted to move the Christmas season. We wanted to bookend Thanksgiving and Black Friday and all that. So the commerce sort of took over and redefined it. Used to have the Feast of Fools. I still attend those fairly often.
Is that Mr. T or something?
No pitying. No pitying at the Feast of Fools. It's just
Pity
the
the
fools.
fool.
Yeah. And they used to have something called Mallard Night, according to British popular customs, present and past. At All Souls College in Oxford, they used to celebrate Mallard Night on January 14th to commemorate the discovery of a very large mallard or drake in a drain. There was even a special song about it with lyrics like, "Let us sing and dance a galliard to the remembrance of the mallard."
Did your ancestors?
Okay, I sort of
do
like
this?
this.
I thought it was the Gormleys. I thought the Gormleys did this.
No. The Gormleys are Irish. The Gormleys are Irish. It's
I thought
my
this
mom's
was going to
side
like
that's
turn
British.
into eating mallards, but
No, I didn't.
It's a
no.
celebration of mallards. Okay,
It's
good.
smiling at me. Christmas cross-dressing? No, thank you. Maidens are dressed up for young men and the young men for maidens. No.
I was going to say the...
I was going to say,
You need
also
the,
called Christmas at Play. Who's that?
Can't. Sorry.
You need you got a bumper there that's crickets. You need to start playing that right now.
I know. She wants to laugh. She just won't. You know how you call Thursday Little Friday?
Yes.
There used to be a Christmas tradition called Little Christmas, but it was celebrated on January 6th at the end. And what it was designed for was because, especially in the old days, and I know it's a lot like this now, but in the old days, more so, it was harder work preparing for Christmas. Like I use my mother as an example. She works extremely hard during the Christmas season. It's hard to just enjoy it. So January 6th was for people who did all of the work during the Christmas season for everyone else. That was their holiday where they basically said,
I'm on board.
Kiss it to
Yeah.
everybody else. It's like, kiss it. I'm not doing anything.
Well, eventually I'll be there. I'm not there yet because your mother and my mother and all that. So I don't do all the work. Eventually I will.
Creepy Christmas cards. Some Christmas cards are still very creepy. Extortion through Christmas caroling.
Oh.
Now bring us a figgy pudding there's a real reason that's in there. We won't go until we get some. We won't go until we get some.
Very true.
That was extortion.
I'm not sure I want figgy pudding.
And then something called hunting the wren.
Okay.
Hunting the wren is a St. Stephen's Day event where groups of men would hunt and kill a wren, hold a mock funeral for it, put it in a wooden box, dress up in costumes, and bring the wee bird corpse to their neighbors' houses to show it off.
I like this one. Bring it back.
There's so much going on there. I don't even know what to
Right.
make of all of
Sounds like something happens in Butler County, right?
somewhere. That sounds like a good place to start, but goodness gracious. So a tradition that I think we should bring back is also my Uncle Hub had me convinced that if you had to sprinkle salt on a bird's tail and the bird would take your Christmas list and he would deliver it to Santa at the North Pole.
How long did that keep you busy?
A couple years ago, right?
Nearly 50 years, I'm still telling the story. We got to get to a break. We'll come back, finish it up for the morning here on In the Know.
Years ago, during my sophomore year at Cal State San Bernardino, I found myself in a difficult situation at Christmas break. I had nowhere to go. Both of my parents had died, and I wasn't able to stay with my siblings or friends. I had to request special permission to spend the holiday on the deserted campus. For 2 weeks, my friends enjoyed roaring fireplaces and dinner tables full of turkey, ham, and all the fixins. Meanwhile, I sat in my cold dorm room, alone, eating whatever was left in the vending machines. I was miserable. And when I think back on that time, I remember that my story isn't unique. Many people will face a similar problem this Christmas. They may not be alone in a college dorm, but they feel just as lonely and isolated. Studies show that rates of depression are at their highest this time of year. It's no wonder why. The Christmas season is filled with joy, celebration, and family get-togethers, all of which highlight your loss and sadness when a loved one has died, or unresolved conflict has driven a wedge between family members. Love and connection are as vital to our well-being as the air we breathe, especially at Christmas. If you're blessed with family, reach out to someone who's not. Can you give them a call? Can you invite them over for dinner? Christmas can feel awfully dark when you're alone. Make it brighter for someone by giving them the gift of community. For Focus on the Family, I'm Jim Daly, and Merry Christmas.
Do you need health insurance? Or maybe you're just looking for a more affordable plan? If so, you should be familiar with Connect. That's K-Y-N-E-C-T. Lisa Lee is Kentucky's Medicaid Commissioner. Lisa, for those not familiar yet with Connect, what is it?
Connect is a website that allows individuals to apply for health insurance coverage, including Medicaid and K-CHIP for children.
And Connect isn't just about finding coverage, it's about finding affordable health coverage on the open market.
It also allows us to partner with insurance carriers and assist with bringing down the cost of premiums for our members.
Sign up soon because you never know.
You never know when you're going to need health insurance coverage, and it's best to be covered all the time.
Go to connect.ky.gov. That's KYNECT.ky.gov.
May your happiness be as warm as your laughter. May your Christmas be filled with peace and love. These are the hopes of your friends at Dermott Funeral Home in Litchfield. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from everyone at Dermott Funeral Home in Litchfield.
Stihl outdoor power tools may be hard to wrap, but once they get opened, you'll see why Stihl is so easy to give. Find the right gift this year with battery power made by Stihl. From mowers and blowers to trimmers and chainsaws, our AK Homeowner series of battery tools starts at just $199.99. Shop now by visiting your local Stihl dealer or going to stihlusa.com/gift guide. Real Stihl. Find yours. All prices MSRP available at participating dealers while supplies last. The holiday season is right around the corner, so give the gift that's hard to wrap, but easy to give. Give them a Stihl. From powerful trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws under the tree to branded accessories stuffed in their stockings, the Stihl Holiday Gift Guide has something for everyone. Visit your local Stihl dealer or go to stihlusa.com/gift guide. Real Stihl. Find yours. Available at participating dealers while supplies last.
MB's Point to Ponder for today. Which holiday tradition is an absolute must for you each year? We just went through some of them that have been retired, and probably rightly so. Still a little scarred over the killing of the wren. But what holiday tradition is an absolute must?
Do you want to go first, Sam?
Go for it.
I think Christmas Eve pajamas.
I wondered if you would say Christmas Eve pajamas.
That's top of mind for me.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Christmas Eve pajamas, yeah.
See, it's changed a lot now that my parents are empty nesters, is that we don't have a lot of it. But I always knew growing up, we'd always go to, they had the train display in downtown Cincinnati. So we'd always go to the train display every Christmas. Was kind of like our thing with my dad. It was usually, I think, the weekend before Christmas.
All right.
Down at the convention center. I don't even know if it's still open or not.
Well, if it's not, they should bring it back like some of those other retired Christmas traditions.
Maybe put some wrens in there too.
Yeah. So Sam will scrunch up his nose at this, but the reason that the movie A Christmas Story is so important to my family, the origins of that, is that it's the last movie, and really my mom, I think, was shopping at the time, but my dad and my sisters and I, during the Christmas season, went to see A Christmas Story when it was at the theater, like in the cinema. And so we just kind of latched onto it, and it became a thing all the way through. And then a few years ago, I got my dad a leg lamp for Christmas, and like it's on display. And then when Christy and I met, she already owned a leg lamp. and loved the movie. And so it's just, that's why it's also, when I like to block out the world, that's why we do it for 24 hours. It's just, that's the only thing that we watch for that 24 hours. We love it. You can recite it. The younger kids in our family, they don't like it, just like you don't, Sam, or they just think,
I don't want to say I don't like it.
You don't have an affinity for it.
Correct.
In the same way.
If you told me you never have to see A Christmas Story again, I'd be like, okay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. But what if you were told you could never watch Elf again?
It would hurt a little bit, but I could.
You could live through it?
I could live through it. But Elf, I'll watch Elf 10 times before I'd watch Christmas Story.
So I guess for me, like, that's some of the factors change, and some of our traditions will eventually have to. That's the thing about traditions; they eventually give way, and that's just part of life. But that's pretty consistent. Like, if you go back and it's not just, I know we do it at our house, mom, dad do it at their house. That's just what we watch.
And when I no longer have children in my home to give pajamas to, we'll still be watching A Christmas Story. So
yeah,
maybe by that point you'll have grandkids though.
Then we're also gotten really big into Chinese turkey.
But you can bring it back then.
Yeah, Chinese turkey. That's what we always find a way during the holiday, somewhere between the 18th and Christmas Day, we have Chinese food.
Do you sing the song?
Yes, we do. As a matter of fact, it was being sung at our
do.
house earlier this week, making sure we're raising them right, that they know how to sing it, the youngest one. But there have been nights when we would have the girls at home on Christmas night, and we would have Chinese on Christmas at home because that's the only thing open. For the same reason it was open for Ralphie's family when the Bumpuses got the turkey, the Bumpus Hounds.
Bumpuses.
All right. On television tonight, the season 41 finale of Survivor. Okay. This says the series premiere of Young Rock, but it's at least the second season tonight on NBC. Kenan is back. Mr. Mayor is a series premiere. The Masked Singer season 6 finale is on Fox tonight. We get a break from basketball tonight, Sam?
Yeah, not until Friday night as the Cougars host Collins in the 2001 recognition night.
Ooh.
Chris Gaither makes the return.
Okay.
Got two good point guards coaching against one another. Johnston against Gaither.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'm making a move that you interview the winning coach after the game no matter what.
Oh.
I'm not saying that you can't interview
so
the
is that
losing coach.
That's their reward?
I just think that you should interview them both.
Mm-hmm. At the same time?
Maybe. I mean, you could be the mediator. You could be like on one side and
split down the middle, because you never know. They have fisticuffs or something.
Maybe.
I know that Todd Johnston might have to be the mediator, being the one that's coached both of them.
No, that would be a real Sophie's choice for him. Today's highlight in history. This day in 1978, President Carter announced he would grant diplomatic recognition to Communist China on New Year's Day. The Bill of Rights went into effect this date in 1791. That's why it's Bill of Rights Day. Gone with the Wind had its world premiere in Atlanta this date in 1939. Birthdays today. Dave Clark from the Dave Clark 5 is 79 today. Don Johnson is 72. Sonny Crockett is 72 today? Crockett and Tubbs. Doug Phelps from Brother Phelps and the Kentucky Headhunters is 61. And Maud Apatow, or Apatow, whichever you like to say, is 24. So she's one of those little girls in This Is 40. Paul Rudd and...
Oh, the one with the sweet little scrunchy face?
I don't think she's the youngest one. I think it's the older one that's 24. Oh, okay. That movie's not old enough for the baby to be 24. But they do kind of make that movie. Gone but not forgotten, Gustav Eiffel, born this date in 1832. Let's find a chart topper. Don't have a lot of time for them today, but we'll try to go to 1959. Ernie Fields Orchestra was still number one. I think we featured him at least once in the last couple of weeks.
Sing it. You don't know the words?
In the mood.
There you go.
In the mood. More of a spoken song. Uh-huh. Did you, Beej, you weren't in here, so I don't know if you caught it, but I Ralphied Ashley Bell. Did you?
How did you Ralphie her?
So in one of the great moves Ralphie, in A Christmas Story, he goes in and sneaks the advertisement, as you some people call it, the advertisement for the Red Ryder BB gun, and slips it in her Look magazine, so that when she opens it up, she sees it and she goes. So I was name dropping like about the bagpipes. Like bagpipes are a good gift.
Okay.
I did get that. I don't know. It doesn't seem like she's necessarily that on board.
I can't get them to bite on that, can I?
No, I think you got the better chance with Devil Went Town to Georgia.
All right, 1968, Dion was number one with Abraham, Martin, and John.
Anybody here seen my old friend Abraham? Can you tell me where he's gone?
There are songs that define an era, and that's one of them. When I hear it, I think 77, the Bee Gees, How Deep Is Your Love? Hey, that new documentary on HBO, that Robert Stigworth, he was the Mr. Saturday Night Fever guy, the guy that was behind all this. That's a remarkable story about how all that happened. Oh.
Sounds like you saw one that you really got to play or something.
Yeah, I would ruin Christmas. If she knew I had this queued up and I didn't play it, all my Christmas gifts would be taken back. 1986. Huey Lewis and the News, number one.
Oh, yeah.
Digging on UTLC in 95. I Don't Want to Be Gavin DeGraw in 04. And Lord Royals 8 years ago today. All right, MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. You cannot be anything if you want to be everything. You cannot be anything if you want to be everything. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. Remember, God loves you, and I do too. If you don't know Jesus, let me know, and I'll introduce you. Look forward to seeing you back here next time for another edition of our show. For Sam Gormley, for Beej, I'm MB, and now you're in the know.
Powering through the Twin Lakes with the best mix of music, news, weather, and fun. If it's in the Twin Lakes,